The other day, someone jokingly posted this in Zoodiac. It says, people keep saying how good this card is in Zoo, and I can't figure out why. I'm playing 3, and it keeps bricking. And they posted a picture of Whiptail Crow. This joke has been made with Junk Barrage as well, talking about Barrage and stuff. And I don't know, I was inspired to try to make an entire deck with choices like this, where I'm picking cards that have pretty similar names to the Zoodiac cards or the normal Zoodiac cards that you find in their deck, and make a whole deck out of them, and then attempt to win at least a couple duels. And it was pretty painful, I'll be honest, but let's just go through the ones that I changed, and then also the cards that I added. So first, obviously, the Whiptail was what inspired this, so it's going to be the first one that I'm going to mention. But yeah, Whiptail Crow was actually like not even the worst card in this deck, as you'll find out, but that was the first change I made. The second one was picking what rat card I wanted. I decided to go with Giant Rat instead of Rat Pierre. Giant Rat isn't like terrible, although like while I was trying to get these replays, it kept getting like Dark Hold or in some cases Caius, and like I don't know, Giant Rat just like never resolved. It was impossible, but it seemed good in theory, or at least not terrible. The best card in the deck is actually the Thoroughblade replacement, Dark Blade. Dark Blade is 1800 attack. It's also the second Dark monster, so we can play Lore of Darkness. And yeah, it's the only like good attacker that this deck has, so it's whatever. Next, like I said, Junk Barrage instead of Zoodiac Barrage. Junk Barrage, I mean, this joke has been made a bunch of times, but there's no other choice for me. I just had to play it. It's funny. Next, Terror Top. This is probably the worst card in the deck. It changes to Top Runner. Top Runner is terrible. It's a tuner, so like that's kind of neat. But man, this card, I drew this card way more than any of the other monsters, and that was super frustrating. Just because it has no attack points, and it basically did nothing the whole time. Next, the Takaton Borg is Zaborg. Yeah, I mean, with Takaton Borg, there's like a couple different words out of its name that you could choose to make fun of, but Borg just seemed like the most obvious. I never actually summoned Zaborg. I never drew it. I mean, it's pretty hard. I mean, it's weird, right? Because like when I played Takaton Borg, I draw that card all the fucking time. But when I played Zaborg, never draw it, never saw it. It definitely would have come up though, because there were like times where I just like needed spot removal, if we're counting Zaborg as spot removal, and I just couldn't get to it, so it's whatever. Probably the least bad change. I didn't want the deck to be completely terrible, but I changed the Forbidden Chalice, which is pretty standard main deck tech right now, into Forbidden Lance. I thought about doing Forbidden Dress. I guess that would have been fine too, and I thought of doing whatever the book one is. I can't even remember, like the one that like changes attack and defense or unchanges attack and defense changes, whatever that one was. Forbidden Scripture, I believe. I was gonna do that, but I wanted. I don't know. Lance makes it so that like this deck can sort of attack over things, and I just felt it was necessary to play a card that wasn't completely shitty. Next, I swapped out Twin Twisters for just Twister. Yeah, that's pretty bad. This isn't Dual Links. Twister isn't very good, but I had to do it anyway. They told me to. Zoodiac combo for Onigami combo. I don't know. I feel like Onigami combo is slightly less worse to draw than Zoodiac combo. Maybe that's just me. It never came up. I really wanted to OTK with someone with it, though. It's impossible. It never would have happened. Dimensional Barrier for Dimensional Prison. This is probably tied with the Chalice to Lance change for being like the least bad change. Dimensional Prison, sorry. While it isn't like amazing or anything, it's not like terrible like Top Runner, and I mean it's just a generic trap that I could have used a bunch of times but never really saw. And then lastly, I changed Solemn Strike to Solemn Wishes. This is like terrible. There was like a couple funny instances where I had multiples of these and I was just floating on Giant Rats, but I didn't even win those games because it doesn't do anything, right? You open multiples and then you gain some life points, but that's it. Doesn't really help. So anyway, the starting engine with not all the cards you can see on the screen there, I felt like these numbers were pretty standard. I mean, you're only going to play one combo. Most people only play 2 Chalice. Most people, if they're playing Twin Twister, are only playing 2. I just went with 3 of all the monsters and then the 1 Zaborg. From that skeleton, I wanted to then focus on cards that weren't necessarily jokes on the rest of the common Zoodiac cards, but were more so just like complementary to those cards to make the deck suck less. So then we end up with this, which, as you can see, I added Allure of Darkness and Desires to hopefully see some combo cards. I added DDR for the Whiptail and Darkblade when you banish those with Allure. I mean, it's a sick combo, am I right? Rhoda to search Darkblade because I'm bad. Rescue Rabbit, which God forbid I ever see that card, but I mean, it would have been good because it would have been a one card rank 4. And then 3 Tin Goldfish. That was like the linchpin of the strategy because it's the only way to put like an Exceed monster on the board. And also, it could put Top Runner to make a level 8 synchro. The extra deck was, I don't know, pretty standard for as standard as this garbage deck would be. The only thing that's really worth mentioning is like the Heroic Champion Gandiva and the Heroic Champion Excalibur, just because, I don't know, I was really optimistic about getting 2 Dark Blades on the board, but that never happened, so it's not like it really made a difference anyway. And then the Gem Knight Pearl just as a shout out to the Onigami combo. Anyway, though, I'll play the replays in the background here. It was basically impossible winning with this deck. I originally was just trying to play random people, but I quickly realized that, man, this deck is way worse than I thought it ever would have been. Because, like, the problem was that even against bad decks, it was still way more unplayable. Just because outside of Tin Goldfish, there was no way to, like, put a monster on the board, so they would just, like, if they just like set any back row and then like summon a monster with more than 2,000 attack and you didn't have Lance or Goldfish, you had no way to out it. And yeah, Giant Rat was terrible. Top Runner was terrible. I mean, obviously I wasn't expecting this deck to be like top tier or anything, but this is like one of the times that I miss Dueling Network because like this would have been a deck to start a new account with and then try to rank up with against the other people that were low ranked and had not played anybody. This would have been a deck perfect for that because it actually might have been able to win some duels and it would have been funny, but this deck is just so bad it wasn't even worth like trying to, I don't know, like beat Cosmos or even Zoodiacs, whatever. I know a lot of times when people post bad decks, they want to show them dueling against good decks and replays where like the good deck player was either really bad or bricked. But honestly, with this deck, it just wasn't even possible, unfortunately. But I mean, I still thought it was funny, and I don't know. This actually took a lot more effort than I thought it would, but I did have some funnier duels. There was one where I started my turn with a set Giant Rat, and then he summoned a monster and creature swapped, so like he got a Giant Rat. And then I summoned a Dark Blade and attacked over my own rat because he creature swapped it. And then I got the rat for a second rat and then attacked him again. And that was like really funny because it was like, I never would have thought of putting creature swap in this deck. But it just so happened I faced against the only player playing creature swap. And it just so happened on top of that I also set a rat first turn for him to switch out. There was only one person that got the joke of the deck before I told them. No one else, I don't know, because like, no one would really think about that. I mean, possibly if you saw Rat and Whiptail Crow on the field at the same time, but I don't even think if you saw those on the field at the same time because I put in the description that I was playing like the worst deck ever. So like that shows some self-awareness. At least that's what I thought. I thought if I showed some self-awareness, it wouldn't just seem like I was a super scrub. But the problem was that people were playing decks that were bad, definitely, but way better than my deck, like Ghostrix and Kaijus, like pure Kaijus, stuff like that, where it's like, is this deck bad? Yes. Is it better than mine? Absolutely. Regardless, though, this was a lot of fun, actually. It was sort of like a deck building challenge for myself, and I'm glad I did it. I wouldn't advise it. You can definitely try out this deck if you really want to. I wouldn't suggest it. It's bad, but I think this can be like a fun challenge video to do in the future. I'm not really sure what other decks I would do it with. There were some cards that were just really hard to do. I'm talking about specifically, I couldn't really swap out any of the Kaijus for anything, or like Dark Hole, or like Vanity's Emptiness. I mean, I guess I could play like Vanity's Fiend, but I really tried to stick with the same type of card. I know I didn't do that for a couple of them. I think might have been just Combo, actually, yeah, because there weren't really any cards called Combo, besides Combo Master and the Onigami combo. But I don't know, it was fun. I try to stay within the same type, but maybe going forward, if I ever did this again, which I really doubt I will because it was terrible, but if I ever did it again, I might expand, and there would be a way to do this where you focus on cards that have similar effects to the Zoodiacs that you're copying, but I thought just going with the name for all of them would be the best way to get the worst deck ever. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you later. Bye.